Hello, everyone. Welcome to Incredibly Influential Interviews. I'm super excited. Today we've got an absolutely phenomenal guest. I really couldn't be more happy. Please introduce yourself.
Well, I don't know how I'm supposed to follow that up, but my name is Cush, and I am a Pokemon YouTuber.
Cush, see, you just said you're a Pokemon YouTuber. I thought I was talking to Cush, the co-writer and co-director and co-creator of Timothy Chestnut's Guide to Saving Christmas. You know, the holiday film sensation. You know, I thought we were talking about that. Oh, geez. Pokemon, I don't know about this.
I guess I need to update my IMDb. I don't know.
Absolutely.
Thank you for having me, though.
Oh, thank you for agreeing to join. I'm so happy we could get to do this. I'll tell you what really inspired me is, you know, I was watching your stuff, you know, obviously, you know, those Pokemon quizzes that, you know, Zane and DeliciousJames, those being Shannon and Peter, those quizzes absolutely blown up, gone viral. And you have been in quite a few, of course. And I noticed really that as you first started being in those, right? You know, you were a little bit more reserved, a little bit more, you know, maybe there was some trepidation or something, perhaps. But you know, as of recently, you've become, you know, a real big personality, and it seems like you've become really comfortable being recorded and being on camera. And so I wanted to really look into that and see hey, how did that progression happen? You know, because you've obviously got a pretty successful YouTube channel, you know, and you've got all this content and all these great friends and huge body of work, obviously. So I'm just wondering, what did it take to get you into that sort of mindset to where you were more comfortable? But we can get to that later. But I just want to go over a little bit of background. When did you start creating videos?
So the first videos I ever made were back in 2017. I ended up making 4 or 5 of them. And back then I was a big fan of pretty big gaming channels like Vanoss, that whole kind of gaming crew, KYR Speedy. Just a lot of multi-game funny moments channels.
Dude, the KYR Speedy, man, that's some shit. That's some shit there. Yeah. Oh my god, somebody was talking about the you have blank, it came free with your blank, and I'm like, you new gens don't even remember the original video. You guys don't even remember Jehovah's Witness and Deluxe 4, man. Come on.
You have Uno.
It came free with your fucking Xbox. Oh my god.
But yeah, I started off with making similar style channels to those, you know, playing things like CSGO, GTA, just a lot of the, I guess, popular sort of games that I was currently enjoying at the time. And I ended up making, like I said, 4 or 5 videos, and then I ended up going to college, and you know, obviously your first year of college, a lot of stuff is happening, so I never really felt like I had the time or the creative process to do things. And then my sophomore year came around, and I was in a pretty, I guess, not great place mentally, and so I kind of decided to take a step back and try and remember and refocus on what brought me joy. And, you know, YouTube was always kind of an escape for me. And so when I decided to start my channel, I ended up, you know, drawing myself back in. And then luckily I had managed to make some new friends right around that same time online. And so I had this small little group of people that I could record with. And so I ended up really starting, I guess, I don't know if full-time is the word, because it really wasn't, but, you know, I started, like, genuinely making videos, you know, without necessarily slowing down, right around, like, late 2019, early 2020, right before COVID hit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, going back, yeah, you can kind of see that. Definitely, you can really see how it's like evolved, sort of. Definitely a whole lot of can you beat videos. I love those. That's what inspired me to get into YouTube. I've made a couple myself on my channel. Yeah. Oh my God. You know, Mitten Squad, RIP, got me into that. He was really big and influential in that for me. So definitely, yeah. But like, absolutely love that stuff. And then, you know, obviously, you know, nowadays you've got like the Pokemon board games and the GeoGuessr. Very nice. Yeah. Gotta love the GeoGuessr. The Guess Who, of course. Yeah, but I mean, I you know, I was gonna ask you, you know, how has your content evolved? I think we've talked about that, but I mean, what inspired you to do the whole like the Guess Who's and GeoGuessr and stuff like that? What inspired that?
Well, you know, my content has taken a pretty big, I guess, turn. You know, I had kind of mentioned where I started, but like over time, Nintendo started kind of morphing its way into my like videos. You know, like every so often I'd throw in like a Mario Party or a Pokemon video. And I was kind of trying to find an identity, you know, something that would kind of stick. And it wasn't really until my surprise trading video, which blew up. It has, I think, 1.4 million views right now. But it wasn't really up until I had kind of been like, okay, this is the community I belong in, or this is the type of, you know, area I can really kind of hunker down and live in. So once I had kind of established, like, okay, maybe Pokemon is the right angle for me to go, I spent a good few weeks just kind of storyboarding ideas, finding, you know, as many ways as I could to change things. And I did have a very, like, I guess you could call it like small ant or point crow approach to games, of just like finding unique ways to beat them, finding ways to make them harder. And that was kind of my idea of what like a Pokemon channel looked like, right? Because I didn't really venture outside of the actual gaming aspect of the Pokemon community. And it wasn't really until Shannon had reached out to me to invite me to a game show that I had really, I guess, understood the magnitude of how big this community actually is. And so this was, you know, that very first game show that I was part of was my first sort of like look into this community that I'm a part of now. And it's, you know, looking back, it's crazy to think that, you know, I had never seen this part of YouTube, or like this, I guess, community in itself at all, within the Pokemon community. But to answer your question, you know, the things like the GeoGuessr and the Guess Who was very heavily inspired by my friends. You know, Peeber, he has a very good, amazing games that he creates on Tabletop Simulator.
Yes, I've seen those. The Ticket to Ride one, seen that. Yeah, absolutely boggles the mind. He's very creative with that.
Yeah. And so through his kind of influence and through, you know, Zane, Shannon, Peter, just being around all of these creative, you know, individuals, I was kind of beginning to realize like, oh, I can dip my feet into, tabletop simulator. I can dip my feet into non-conventional Pokemon styled videos. Because it's like, as long as it's still Pokemon, there's not really a determined way of how to, what qualifies as a Pokemon channel, right? So it's like, you can be like a Nuzlocke channel. You can be a Pokemon challenge type channel. You can be, you can be a statistics channel. You can be an art channel. There's so many different branches to Pokemon, which I guess makes sense because it's like the most profitable company ever.
I was gonna say it's like the biggest franchise in the world, like bigger than fucking Star Wars and
bigger
and
than
all
Disney.
That. Yeah,
the whole
crazy.
thing,
Yeah,
so it's
insane.
like, I guess I had, I had never really opened my eyes to that until I was like in it, and through that I was able to, I guess realize, hey, there's a lot more ways that I myself can be creative in this space. And so, I guess who was kind of something that I had always been thinking about. It was just something that I didn't necessarily know how to do. And then once I discovered Tabletop Simulator, I was like, oh, wait, this makes things a little easier.
Yeah, I would love if more of my friends played Tabletop Simulator. It's so cool. I love it. I love it so much. But, oh man, it's just so hard. It's like pulling teeth to try and, like, get a bunch of people together and, like, sit down to, like, play one of those. I imagine Zane and Shannon must be, like, and probably to a lesser extent Peter, must be very, very, probably Peeber, too, must be, like, very familiar with the whole experience of like, okay, well, this person's busy during this time and this person's busy during that time, so now we have to like coordinate all that, and it's, oh man, that must be very difficult.
Yeah, scheduling conflicts are something that I've surprisingly not had to really worry about with this group. It's been a problem in the past, but like even with my GeoGuessr videos, like what I normally do is I end up asking everyone involved, like, ahead of time, like, what days, what times work for you. And then once they all, like, give me an answer, that's when I add everyone to a group, and I'm like, okay, this time I know for a fact everyone's available. How about this day? And then, more often than not, I've found that by doing that, everyone is normally like, yeah, that works. So I haven't really had too many hiccups with scheduling. But yeah, it's it can be difficult at times, especially with how busy a lot of these guys are.
Yeah. What would you say, like, of the main group that you play with, right? And like create content with, how many of them would you say are like full time on YouTube at this point? Do you know what I mean?
I do. I mean, in terms of, like, no other jobs, I'm not really sure, because we don't necessarily talk about things.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I do know for a fact that everyone, that I work with, everyone that I record with, are all very committed to not only their channels, but, the whole kind of friend group itself. Which is really cool.
Yeah, that's got to be awesome. Like, I've always like noticed that you guys, I think definitely I've seen you become like very, very good friends with a lot of those people. You and Chris Pichet, I've noticed, have a lot of very good chemistry. Every time Delicious James has one of those RPG videos that they make, love those, by the way, those are amazing. I always hope that you two get paired up. It's so fun. And then you and Zane have good chemistry, but I feel like Zane has good chemistry with everyone. He is the happiest person I think I've ever seen. Like, you can see every time he says anything in his videos, he is smiling, like, just ear to ear. Whatever drugs that man is on, somebody needs to get me them, because good Lord, that's gotta be, like, so nice of an environment to, like, film in. Because, oh, man, it always just seems like so, like, I mean, you guys rib on each other, you know, Scarecrow sketch, obviously. Not the biggest fan of Timothy Chestnut for some reason. But, you know, you guys just have so many good moments and, like, good bonds between you guys. So, like, how long do you think it really took before you were, like, really, really comfortable with this, like, core group?
Yeah, I think, kind of going back to that first question you asked, or not really asked, but you had mentioned that, you know, at the beginning when I was first introduced to these game shows, I wasn't necessarily, like, my full self. And I know for a fact that when I first started getting invited to these, there were definitely some nerves at play. But I've always been the kind of person to kind of let that just kind of stick to the side for the duration of what we're doing. And so I think a lot of that early sort of kind of holding myself back was more of trying to gauge how to talk to these people, because, you know, my first times talking to a lot of these creators were through these recordings. So it's like I didn't have any prior knowledge of a lot of these guys. I didn't have any, you know, I guess chemistry. And so I had to kind of like test the waters before I like jumped in. But yeah, the overall kind of chemistry of the group was something that came to me very, very early on. You know, like I was actually just saying, you know, the other day, I've only known Peeber Koifish for 3 months, you know, along with a couple others. And it's like, I've only known Zane for 6 months, you know? So it's like, that's crazy. Like,
and then you guys made a movie together. Isn't that awesome?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I don't know. It's very cool to see, because it's a community where I don't necessarily have to worry about like pretending to be someone I'm not. You know, I can just sit here, be myself, do my thing, and everyone, you know, responds to that really nicely, and everyone feeds off of that. And I think that kind of applies to everyone in the group. Not necessarily that we're like, you know, this specifically branded group or anything, but, you know, just our kind of circle of friends that we've created.
Yeah, you're not like FaZe Clan or like the crew. You brought up KYR Speedy. You're not like branded the crew trademark, right? But yeah, no. But it's just really cool to see. Like, I mean, you know, everyone's just super negative all the time, it feels like recently. And it's like seeing you and Zane and Shannon, Peter, Chris, anyone who like comes on, just like seeing you guys just always having fun and having an absolute blast, even at Scarecrow Sketch's expense, you know. It's just, oh man, it's like the highlight of my week whenever I see you guys, you know, get together and do that. That's always just so fun for me. And man, it's just so nice. You guys are, you know, just like really, really good with the positivity and keeping up like everyone's spirits, you know. Like you brought up college, you brought up, you know, not being in a good spot mentally, right? You know, 2025, it was a long year, and I'm in right now I just started my last semester of undergrad. And it's been, you know, going on for quite a while. I've been in college for like 6 years now. Yeah. Don't ever add a major, kids. Don't ever do that. It's terrible. But it was just so rough. And it's like, you know, I see the finish line, but you guys, you know, you guys kept my spirits up. Every time I would see, like, again, those RPG videos, and specifically, like, the murder mystery ones, those must be, like, the most fun shit ever to record, because they're so fun to watch.
Yeah,
Oh
I
God.
would think so too. I haven't been invited to one of those.
Oh my God, you gotta, yeah, I think you guys would, Chris Pichet and Zane would be a hilarious, and then obviously Peter, and then Shannon running it. Oh my
Yeah.
God, it would be amazing. You guys have got to put that together. I pass that message along to them. Those are my favorites. I love those so much. They're so fun. It's those are really fun because I get to see you guys working as a team rather than like against each other, and it's just like, oh man, it's so good to see, like, the bonding. It's so sweet. It warms my cold, shriveled up little heart. Hey guys, sorry to interrupt, but I do unfortunately have to pay some bills. Thank you very much for sticking with us, and stay tuned. Is it just me, or does it seem like the market is a little oversaturated with these super heavily caffeinated drinks? Nowadays, everybody's drinking tons of coffee or these really strong energy drinks, and it's honestly just too much for me. Thankfully, we've got a great product for you if you feel the same way. Aspire is redefining energy drinks with a better, healthier way to power your day. Unlike most energy drinks that are loaded with excessive caffeine and sugar, Aspire delivers a gentle, balanced boost with 80 milligrams of natural caffeine, half the caffeine of most leading energy drinks. Sourced from premium green tea and guarana seed extract, Aspire provides a smooth, sustained lift without the jitters, crashes, or spikes in energy. With zero sugar, 0 calories, and 0 artificial additives, Aspire is the perfect choice for those who want energy that feels good and fits into a healthy lifestyle. Its crisp, light, sparkling taste, and delicious flavors like raspberry acai, sweet cherry, and mango lemonade make it as enjoyable as it is functional. Lightly carbonated and easy on the stomach, it's an unextreme energy drink for those who prefer a more natural, steady energy boost. Packed with essential B and C vitamins, biotin, and ginger, Aspire also supports focus, metabolism, and overall well-being. Vegan, gluten-free, soy-free, keto-friendly, and suitable for those with diabetes, it's an inclusive option for virtually anyone. Free U.S. shipping makes it easier than ever to try Aspire, the healthier energy drink that lets you feel great all day. Head to aspiredrinks.com or use the link in the description and use code IIHSPodcast, all one word, to get an exclusive 20% off your order, which is the highest discount available. That's code IIHSPodcast, all one word, for 20% off your order. For smooth energy and delicious taste, try Aspire today. Having lived in the woods for 3 months, I know the importance of having good gear when going on an expedition. However, I'm also very passionate about preserving the environment for future generations. Thankfully, we've partnered with a brand that combines both. Introducing Torain. Torain offers a unique collection of wallets, totes, backpacks, and travel gear, upcycled from concrete, feed, and rice bags, sourced globally, and lined with recycled plastic bottles. Every item is handcrafted and supports fair trade practices, and every item sold is $1 donated to charitable organizations that keep our planet habitable. If you're excited to get your hands on this functional, stylish, and sustainable gear, head to torain.org or use the link in the description and use our code IIHSPodcast, all one word, for an exclusive 15% discount on your order. That's code IIHSPodcast, again, all one word, for 15% off your order. For your next adventure, make sure you stock up at torain.org today. I'm a big fan of supporting local businesses, so when Big Fork Brands, a local Chicago-based company, agreed to work with us, I was really excited. Big Fork is creating bacon sausage, paleo pork jerky, Chicago-style sauces, and craft meat sticks like no one else. Known for their bold flavors, clean ingredients, and small batch craftsmanship, Big Fork's products are designed to stand out. Their Chicago-style sauces, like the tangy original Chicago sauce and spicy Chicago fire sauce, bring the iconic flavor of Chicago's famous hot dog toppings into one convenient bottle. These sauces simplify meal prep, making it easy to add rich, zesty flavor to burgers, hot dogs, and fries in seconds. Not only that, but Big Fork's bacon sausage is a game changer, combining nitrate-free, hardwood smoked bacon with premium pork for a juicy, smoky flavor that you won't find anywhere else. With 5 unique flavors, including hickory and applewood and spicy 3-pepper, these sausages turn everyday meals into indulgent experiences. Their paleo and keto-friendly craft pork jerky and pork sticks are high-protein snacks crafted with simple, clean ingredients. Thin sliced and marinated overnight, the jerky offers tender bites in craveable flavors like spicy 3-pepper and maple. Their portable meat sticks, available in Thai green curry and maple pepper, are perfect for on-the-go snacking. Big Fork has been featured by Food & Wine, the Chicago Tribune, and QVC, and it has been praised for bringing bold flavors and unmatched quality. Customers rave about their products, calling them unlike anything else, with one saying the bacon sausage is life-changing. Founder Lance Avery, an Iowa native and chef, combined his Midwest roots with culinary expertise to create these one-of-a-kind pork creations. Partnering with small Iowa farms raising 100% heritage hogs outdoors without antibiotics, Big Fork ensures their commitment to sustainability and quality in every bite. Big Fork proves that small batch craftsmanship and clean ingredients deliver unforgettable taste. Head to big-fork-brands.myshopify.com or use the link in the description, and make sure you use code IIHSPodcast, all one word, to get 20% off your order. That's code IIHSPodcast, all one word, for 20% off your order. Unforgettable taste, incredible craftsmanship. Enrich your snacks and meals with Big Fork today. I don't know about you guys, but I'm a hot sleeper, and I absolutely hate having sheets that are too warm or just wearing these big, stuffy, heavy pajamas. Ugh, it's terrible. However, what if I told you that these issues could be a thing of the past with our friends over at Cozy Earth? Cozy Earth redefines luxury sleep with its best-selling bamboo sheet set made from 100% premium viscose from bamboo and its ultra-comfortable pajamas. Known for cooling and moisture-wicking properties, Cozy Earth's bamboo bedding is perfect for hot sleepers seeking a restful night's sleep. The oversized fit and incredibly soft drape of these sheets only improve with each wash, making them a standout in luxury bedding. Their pajama set brings a touch of elegance to relaxation, combining style and supreme comfort for nights in. Don't just take it from us, Cozy Earth's products are a favorite among other celebrities. Kris Jenner praises their bamboo sheets as her nightly essential, raving about their softness and cooling comfort. For 7 consecutive years, Oprah has included Cozy Earth on her favorite things list, and the brand has been featured on Good Morning America, In Style, and Better Homes and Gardens. Customers echo this love with thousands of 5-star reviews describing the sheets as buttery soft and the pajamas as the ultimate cozy treat. With free shipping on orders over $50, a 100-night sleep trial, and a 10-year warranty, Cozy Earth will bring lasting luxury and comfort into your home. Head to CozyEarth.com or use the link in the description and use code IIHSPodcast, all one word, to get an exclusive 41% off your order. The highest discount available. That's code IIHSPodcast, all one word, for a whopping 41% off your order. Sleep shouldn't make you sweat, and now it won't. Try Cozy Earth today. All right, I know you guys listening to this, you're party animals. After all, there's already a drinking game for this show. However, unlike me, some of you guys wake up the morning after with splitting headaches and lots of regrets. Yep, you're hungover. But what if you could borrow my liver after a night of debauchery and make hangovers a thing of the past? Well, you're not actually going to borrow my liver, but with liqueur gummies packed with DHM from the Hawaiian dulcis tree, you're going to be feeling just as good. Alongside DHM to help you metabolize acetaldehyde, liqueur is packed with prickly pear and milk thistle, both known to boost your liver function. It also includes plenty of vitamins and electrolytes to help your body build back better. On top of all that, you're getting some ginger root in there to help soothe that sick tum. Head to liqueur.com or use the link in the description and use our exclusive code IIHS Podcast, all one word. That'll get you an awesome 20% discount off your order. That's code IIHS Podcast, all one word, for 20% off your order. Liqueur can't unsend those drunk texts to your ex, but you'll be a lot less hungover when you deal with the consequences. Check it out today. I've said this on the show before, but I go absolutely nuts for Indian food. However, when you live in a small town, it's really hard to get restaurant quality Indian food, and your only other option is to learn a ton of recipes and spend hours on meal prep and cooking. All that stuff sucks. So I'm very excited to talk about a great deal from thecuminclub.com. They've served over 2 million meals and they are trusted by over 40,000 customers with 30 plus options, all curated by expert Indian chefs to choose from. Starting from just $5.09 a meal, you're getting authentic Indian cuisine for prices that just can't be beat. I know, your mouth is already watering, so here's what you're going to do. You're going to go to thecuminclub.com or use the link in the description, and you're going to use our exclusive code IIHS Podcast, all one word, at checkout. That'll get you a phenomenal 30% discount off your order. That's code IIHS Podcast, again, all one word, for 30% off your order. You'll be getting restaurant quality Indian food in the comfort of your home in just 5 minutes. And what's not to love about that? Just make sure you can take the heat. Do you crave the taste of a good cocktail without the buzz of alcohol or the headache of a hangover? I've got the scoop on a product that is going to scratch that itch like you wouldn't believe. Introducing Kensho cocktails from rsrvcollective.com. Kensho means self-discovery in Japanese, and after you try them, you're going to feel like a brand new you. They've got distinct, sophisticated flavors while still remaining vegan, gluten-free, non-GMO, and low-calorie. These great cocktails were recognized by BevNet as one of the best non-alcoholic beverages of 2023, and it shows. I know you want in on all this good stuff, and we've got a great deal for you. Head to rsrvcollective.com or use the link in the description and use our exclusive discount code IIHS Podcast, all one word, to get 30% off your order. Again, that's code IIHS Podcast, again, all one word, for 30% off your order. Luxurious alcohol-free experiences served chilled right from your fridge. That's rsrvcollective.com. This podcast is sponsored by Amanda Redwine, your no-nonsense talk therapist and parent coach. Serving individuals and couples in both Illinois and Florida for counseling/therapy, as well as worldwide for parent coaching. Amanda's specialty is working with teens and young adults, as well as their family systems. Amanda has extensive experience working with youth who identify on the LGBTQIA+ spectrum. She has also done couples work based on a foundation of the Gottman method. She brings a light, no-nonsense approach to treatment that is approachable and empathetic. She is unflappable and makes her clients comfortable from the very beginning. Find out more at www.amandaredwine.com. That's AmandaRedWine.com. Thank you again for sponsoring this episode, and back to the show. So I guess who really? I know your solo content, of course, didn't really used to be as board game influenced, and we kind of talked about, Peeber influenced you. Obviously, Zane and Shannon and Peter gave you some influence. What influenced more of your catching every Pokemon in blank games? What was more your influence there? Who gave you that sort of style influence?
So, I guess it wasn't necessarily like someone influenced me. I guess if there would be someone, John Stone is a pretty good example. His videos of, completing the Pokedex in games are always very well made and professionally done. I always, watched those just for my own enjoyment. But in terms of kind of that spin-off series, I decided to essentially create those style of videos with, non-main game series. So, I did it with Mystery Dungeon, I did it with Pokemon Coliseum, I did it with Pokemon Ranger, and so, I think reaching into that alley of spin-off games was kind of an area that hadn't necessarily been done before. And I think that's a big reason for why, a lot of brainstorming is required, because, you need to look at when you're creating videos, you need to look at, what is popular, what games are going to get decent traction, but then also you need to look at things like, has this already been done? And if it has, how long ago? Or, did it do well? Did it not do well? So there's a lot of things that kind of have to go into even beginning a video. And so I think for that specific series, I kind of just realized that the spin-off games had a lot of nostalgic love to them. And so I tried to tap into that by kind of bringing them back, completing, this big completionist challenge of essentially doing a living dex for the spin-off games. And, I guess they worked out pretty well.
Yeah, I mean, hey, you're sitting at, 33K right now? I mean... Yeah. I'll definitely, that's 10 times more than what I have. So you're certainly doing all right. I gotta ask, why is your profile picture the fish out of water from Chicken Little 2005?
Yeah. See... People ask me that a lot, and I think the funniest thing about it is that I don't even remember why I made it that. The reason that I made it that was because the picture, it started on Discord, and I don't remember who gave me the picture or why they gave me the picture, but someone sent me this picture of the fish. And I was like, okay, this would be kind of hard if I made this my profile picture. And so I did it on Discord, and, at the time, it wasn't my YouTube profile picture. And then eventually, it had kind of stuck so much on my Discord that I was like, what if I just changed it to that? Because, I've seen a lot of, Twitch profile pictures that are just random XYZ characters from who knows what media. But they're all, not necessarily saying that all big YouTubers or anything have those, but it kind of, I guess to me, it shows that I don't take it seriously enough to have a genuine profile picture. Because I very well could have an artist drawn picture of me, or any sort of icon that I want, but I feel like the fish kind of embodies the I guess, just like non-seriousness that I bring to my content. So it unironically works.
And where does the name Cush come from?
So that is a family nickname. It actually has nothing to do with weed. For, I get a lot of people that assume that I like spelled it wrong, and I'm like, no, it's not that, like, at all.
Yeah, I was gonna say that Cush is usually spelled with a K, so I was like, yeah, maybe he's just trying to get around the censors. But yeah.
Growing
definitely.
up playing sports, all of my coaches always called me Cush. Like, my dad's nickname growing up was Cush, so it's just a family nickname that I kind of adopted. And I was like, that had kind of been my nickname all growing up, and so it made sense to kind of let that, I guess, bleed into my online person, I guess you could say. So it just kind of worked out.
Yeah, I mean, clearly, again, 33K, you're doing pretty well, and I mean, I'm hoping here's to 50K by the end of 2026. That'd be
absolutely
pretty cool. That would be awesome.
I'm not the type of person. Sorry,
more.
Go ahead.
You definitely deserve more than where you're at right now, obviously.
Yeah, I've never really been the type of person to like worry about numbers too much. I've had a lot of people who are like, oh, like, what do you want to hit by the end of the year? And I never really give them an answer, because it doesn't. It's not that it doesn't matter to me, but it's not necessarily a representation of my channel itself.
That's totally true. Honestly, I've seen. I had Big Beak Entertainment on here twice now. I interviewed him for this show, and then we watched. He's a big Peanuts guy, so we watched Peanuts Thanksgiving together.
Okay.
And that was super fun. But he is absolutely insano style on the editing. It's like super fast paced, super high quality. All his videos are amazing, and it's like almost a shame that he's like sitting at barely above like 160 subscribers, right? Like, he should be million subscribers, raking in the dough. But like it's very rare to see like the big like super talented YouTubers get like a huge audience, right? It's when you get like the really like super talented people, it's usually more niche, right? You only find like the people who really appeal to you. And so like, the more popular they are, the more it's kind of like a lowest common denominator thing. Like, the more it appeals to everyone, the less it appeals to you specifically. So
sure.
At the end of the day, you just find like these really talented YouTubers like you, Big Beak. Another big one that I really like is Killian Experience. He's a OG YouTuber. Well, I say OG. It's been 10 years. 11 this year, but like,
okay.
Damn, 2015 is
yeah.
Doesn't it fuck you up a little bit to be like, wow, YouTube is 20 years old? That's
I was watching a video with my friends a while back, and we like, I knew it was a throwback, but it said like it was uploaded in 2007, and I was like, what the fuck?
Oh yeah.
Like, that's crazy.
I'm making a video about the original Modern Warfare, COD 4, and that came out in 2007. And so I'm like, damn, that game's old enough to vote. That's fucked up. That's I don't like that. Because if that's old enough to vote, and I remember when it came out, how old does that make me? Not great. Not great for showing my age. I want to circle back a little bit. I remember you said Shannon reached out to you personally. Had you guys had any contact beforehand, or was he just like, "Hey, I saw your channel. You've got some really great content. Do you want to come on?"
Yeah, so it was actually I had just recently uploaded my Pokemon Reloaded Nuzlocke, which is essentially the Pokemon ROM that's like real-time battles.
Yes.
And
Yes.
I had actually only made that video because a friend of mine had found it on like the Spanish side of YouTube, and we had both essentially played through the game and made videos on it like together. So like he had made like just a playthrough of it, and I had made a Nuzlocke of it, and both of us uploaded them like I think the same day, if not like one day, back-to-back days, and they both blew up because it was a very, very popular ROM on the Spanish side of YouTube, and it had never really seen the English side. And so I don't necessarily know if we were the exact first ones to make videos on it, but we were definitely the first ones that like kind of essentially made the English side of it go viral. And I think either that same week or maybe like a week or two later, Shannon and Peter had ended up playing that ROM. But I had been in a position of like getting prepared to reach out to YouTubers and Pokemon creators myself. Of like, hey, what if would you like to work with me on so-and-so? And literally like the next day, I had gotten an email from Shannon that was basically saying like, hey, I saw your Pokemon Reloaded video. Would you be willing to, join me for a game show? And it was such a weird, like, butterfly effect feeling to where it's like, if I hadn't made that video, there's a very decent chance that I wouldn't know anyone in this group at this point, So it was very, like, it sprung out of nowhere. Like, I woke up to the email and I was like, is this real? And I they had linked some of the other videos, and that's when I was like, okay, yeah. I mean, this was like I was looking for collabs, and then one fell like right into my lap. So I couldn't have asked for more. And then for that to have led to everything that's happened since then, I've always looked back on that and just been very very grateful to everyone who's kind of gotten me here.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. That sounds amazing. I'm sure, man, like that is a real butterfly effect moment. You're definitely right about that. Like that is absolutely just like, man, imagine like how much would be different if you like hadn't done that. But
yeah.
I mean, but I'm super happy for you that you did manage that, because again, it sounds like you're having like so much fun with that. It really does. Like, that's got to be like the best part, because things are tough around, like, for everyone really. It's right after the holidays especially, but like you're out here making great stuff. Your best of 2025 released like a couple hours before we started recording.
Yep.
Absolutely awesome. So I, for one, as an audience member, really appreciate it. That you and again all your buddies are out here, just putting out all that good content, that feel good content. It's like it really is. Like Miranda said in Timothy Chestnut's Guide to
It's all about giving.
It really is. It really is. I absolutely am just so thrilled to see guys like you and your friends just out there making things to just make people smile. And
to kind of play on that, you had kind of mentioned before, how I had talked about, being in not necessarily the greatest place mentally, and how, a lot of people are always going through things. The reason I wanted to become a YouTuber at all was because when I was in high school and I was trying to figure out where I belonged in, that sort of community. I was always kind of the person where it's like, you know, you're friends with them at school, but you never invite him to things. And so there were a lot of days where, you know, I'd come home and, you know, I'd look at my phone and there'd be nothing and everything would be dry. And so, not to say that it was like a lonely experience in high school, but I definitely used YouTube as a way to kind of escape from feeling that kind of isolation. And I remember, you know, as I watched and I kept, you know, looking at all of these YouTubers that, you know, had these friend groups and, you know, everyone would post videos on the same thing, I would go and watch every perspective because I was just so enthralled by the idea of it. And I, you know, as I kind of grew up with those kinds of channels that I was watching, I had kind of essentially figured out that the thing that kept me coming back was it felt like I was a part of something that was accepting me. And the biggest thing that really led me to want to do this for myself was that, you know, I had felt like, you know, I was somewhere where I belonged. I felt, you know, somewhere where I could fully embrace, you know, the side of me that wanted to be, you know, joyful and around people and all these things. And so I had kind of told myself if I could create the kind of community that could help someone, you know, when they're, you know, feeling isolated like I did, or, you know, feeling like, you know, they need someone to lean on, that was the biggest sort of kicker for me to be like, this is, you know, maybe not like the thing I was born to do, but like, you know, this is the thing that's speaking to me, you know, is being able to be someone's noise, be able to be someone's, you know, I guess community. And
yeah,
so
I kind of get what you mean. Like to be like the thing that someone looks forward to every week. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, maybe not every week. I know your videos definitely take more than a week to make. Good God, I can't imagine doing like the living Dex thing or like I've done a couple. I myself have done a couple of quiz shows. Not Pokemon. I did Star Wars. That was my that's been my thing.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Even though those are like kind of simple to edit, it's just like cutting out all the dead air and stuff like that. Even then, man, it is not fun to edit those. It takes a while, and to make them, oh my God, I can't imagine. Like all I do is just do like a slideshow, like in sort of like how James and Delicious James and Zane do it, right? I did that. That was my most recent one. I did one last year, and then I did one this year. And man, just like coming up with all the questions, getting everything in the right order, all that. Even then, that just takes forever. And the editing, yeah, you guys work really, really, really hard. You know, not to say that like YouTube is harder than like working on an oil rig or all that.
Yeah.
But like, man, it's not. It is not fun. And it's hard work. And man, when you put like a whole bunch of like effort into a video and it just like does not pop off at all, oh man, that's tragic. I myself have made a Pokemon video, and man, those, like, you know, you've done the can you beat Pokemon with X modifier, right? I did one of those in Pokemon Platinum. It was my longest video, like my longest big edited project to date. It took me like, I think it was like 60 hours of work. Yeah. And then it just like barely did anything. It was tragic. It was so sad. Do you have any videos like that where you're like, man, I wish that one popped off?
So I actually have like, I guess an opposite story of that. When I was working on my surprise trading video, which is my biggest video to date, it took me 220 something hours to record. Then it took me an entire month and a half to edit all the way down. You know, I had to make a whole script for it, everything. By the time I was like getting towards finishing the video and I could kind of see the light at the end of the tunnel, it wasn't like okay, it's finally going to come out. I had this feeling of like dread where I was like, I put 8 months of my life into this video and I'm going to upload it and it's going to do nothing. And I'm going to have wasted 8 months of my life on, you know, essentially a waste of a video. And I had come so close to deleting the entire project so many times. But the only thing that was really stopping me was the principle of it, right? It was like, if I delete it, then it's even more of a waste, right? Mm-hmm. And I even had to, you know, I even essentially had to have some of my friends talk me out of it, saying like, hey man, like, you got like 1 day left and then it's done. Like, there's no reason to delete it now. But I was just so like mentally over it and I was so tired of seeing it that I just didn't want anything to do with it anymore. And then, you know, once it was finally done, I was very, very pessimistic about it. And, you know, and then it goes live and it's the biggest video I've ever posted in my life.
Yeah,
so it's like
huge. 1.4 milli. That's
some
weird good stuff there.
It's a weird thing how that works. I mean, to be fair, it was a very like the idea was kind of perfect. You know, Scarlet and Violet had like still been incredibly popular at the time. And then, you know, I had spent all that time, because I don't know, I'm still not entirely sure why. I think it's just because of like the state of viewers, but viewers love watching creators like go through actual like suffering.
Yeah, that's why we like What Happened to Sketch in the Christmas
movie.
Yeah.
But
it's amazing.
You know, between Scarlet and Violet still being you know, very widely talked about and, you know, essentially doing something that had never been done before in terms of like, you know, actually trading for the entire Pokedex. Mm-hmm. You know, it kind of checked every box that needed to be checked for, I guess, the algorithm to really push it. Because I think before that, the biggest video I had ever done was a collab with one of my Zelda friends, which had gotten like 20,000, which is still, you know, a very good amount.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah,
but
absolutely.
Because I think around the time, you know, I was sitting at maybe like anywhere from like 3,000 to 6,000 subs. So like it was still a very, very small channel comparatively.
Well, geez, thanks, Mr. 3300. No,
you know what I mean. You know what I mean.
Oh man, last year. I mean, I say last year was very trying for me mentally, but oh my god, professionally, it was my best year. I went from a little bit before this time last year, and like going into 2025, I had about 650 subscribers. I left with 3,000.
Nice.
I had a similar thing that you described. You know, I had I just hit like the perfect moment in time to really post it. The video that got me there. It was, you know, it was 2025. There had already been one Black Ops 2 retrospective, but obviously, you know, everybody remembers Black Ops 2. I mean, you watched KYR Speedy, you know how much time they spent there, right? So everybody remembered that. Everyone had the nostalgia, so being able to hit that, that's what got me there to my, you know, past the affiliate part. Oh my god, that, or the YouTube partner thing, whatever it is to get you monetized, that part, oh my god. It, like, being able to like get past that and like actually get remunerated for all the time that I'd been spending on that. Oh my god. Do you remember what video it was that sent you over that line, or was it kind of more gradual?
It was pretty gradual for me. I actually kind of cheated the system a little bit. I guess if you want to call it that, because I had already hit 1,000 subs, but I didn't have the amount of watch hours needed to become an affiliate. And so what I ended up doing was I would save the. I started streaming somewhere in there, and anytime I would stream, as long as I didn't like remove the video or unlist the VOD, just having that stream public ended up netting me like anywhere from like 40 to 100 watch hours. And so I just spammed live streams, and eventually I ended up passing it, and I got affiliate through that.
I had both of those were an issue for me, but with that video I crossed over both in like I remember I had the video premiering, right?
Yeah.
And 3 people were watching it. It was me and 2 of my friends. And then I like went to bed that night, and I woke up the next morning. Or no. I went out and I was like, you know what? This is done. It is a Friday night. I'm going to hit the damn club. And I hit the damn club. And when I came back, I was like, holy shit, I've started making moolah, baby. This is beautiful. It was a great night. It was a great damn night. Yeah.
I think the funniest part about it was like I had gotten affiliate, but like none of my videos even came close to be to making enough, like having enough views to actually make anything. So like I was an affiliate that was making no money because I was still just like a very small channel.
Yeah, I mean, I post a lot of different stuff on my YouTube channel. I'm doing YouTube all the way wrong. I'm so terrible at it, right? Because 99% of my content is just like Let's Play shit, and Let's Plays are dead. Let's Plays are so fucking dead in the year of our Lord 2026. Nobody's doing this stuff anymore. It is, you know, SSOH PKC, the Rad Brad, you know, all those old channels. Love those guys. Those guys were awesome.
Chugga Conroy.
I miss it. Yeah, right? You know,
that was my goat.
Yeah, you've had all these like excellent channels who just, you know, SSOH doesn't post anymore. I think the Rad Brad still does, but I don't know if his numbers are still crazy. But yeah, it seems like everyone just like, nobody needs to watch games on YouTube anymore. They're either watching people play it on Twitch, which that's where I record from too. But like, yeah, if I had known that keeping the damn YouTube streams up would have gotten me to affiliate sooner, I would have streamed on YouTube this whole damn time. What have I been doing? What have I been doing? I'm an idiot.
I think that, well, I mean, it's you don't know until you actually see it happen, because I didn't really think anything of it until I had like done a stream, and I had normally like auto unlisted them, but like one of them I think I accidentally hit to like keep it public, and I was like, oops, and then I looked at the credentials for hitting affiliate, and it went up by like the watch time of the stream, and I was like, oh, all right, well, let's just keep doing that. So I think it's not necessarily something you know or that it tells you unless you actually like see it yourself. So I kind of just got lucky in that regard. But in terms of, I forgot what else we were saying.
I do have another question, because I don't remember either. What are some like lessons that you've learned, maybe that are applicable outside of YouTube? You know, because I mean, I think everyone still wants to be a YouTuber. It's still like the #1 career for most kids out there. But for those who don't want to do YouTube full time, what are some things that you've learned that you can apply this stuff to outside of YouTube?
I think the power of networking is maybe the most like unrealized thing that you can do, and this doesn't even apply to like necessarily collabing, but just like extending a hand, reaching out, like, just doing whatever you can to, I guess, get someone's attention. Because I've been praised for this before by some of my now friends, but my people have always told me that my ability to reach out and just like say, hey, do you want to do this? Whether or not I even know the person, but just the act of doing it and not worrying about if they're not going to respond or if they're going to say no, and just, pulling the trigger on it is one of the greatest things that I've been able to do for myself, because I have a lot of friends through YouTube that I would have never met if I hadn't, decided to reach out to them myself. We've talked a lot about my Pokemon friends, but I actually have a lot of friends in kind of the Zelda YouTube community, as well as the Mario 64 community, which is kind of crazy, but it's just like, kind of what started working for me over time were things, where I'd meet someone, like I had a mutual friend through a college buddy who had a Zelda channel. His name is Croton. And he's turned into, one of the biggest Zelda channels on the entire platform. And, he was a big kind of, I guess, mentor, you could say, friend. He was always willing to collaborate with me, even though, I had like 100 subs, just because it was two friends hanging out. It wasn't necessarily like a business deal, but through some of those situations that I found myself in, just by sending an email or sending a friend request on Discord, I was able to connect with literally everyone that you see me with now. Like, obviously, if it wasn't for Shannon, I probably wouldn't know any of these people. But when Zane had first invited me to the first quiz that I was in of his, which was the spy quiz, that was my first time talking with Sketch, talking with Nexus, Will, and Tavi. And after that recording, I ended up sending a friend request to all four of them. And some people might not do that because it's like, I literally just met you. Like, there's no reason we should keep talking. But I did it to kind of allow an opportunity for, if I wanted to invite them to something, or if they wanted to invite me. And so just kind of opening that window and allowing, the potential for it. All four of them, ended up accepting it right away. And then the very next video that I ended up putting out was a GeoGuessr that had, Sketch, Nexus, and Tavi in. So it was, it's kind of something that I've always just done. But I think it's a very, very, I guess, essential skill to have in any, industry that you're working in.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Of just, knowing when to reach out for help, knowing when to, reach out and just make a connection, because those kinds of things are very important for not only, you're growing as yourself, but, being able to grow as, part of a community.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, that's peek behind the curtains, everyone who's listening. That's how I did Big Beak. I just like pony up. I'm like, he's a person just like me. I'm going to email him. And, things are going to work out or they're not going to work out. And we'll see what happens. Cush, I feel a little bit dumb for doing this the way that I did. I didn't see that your business email was on there. So I hopped in your Discord, went into the Ask Cush section, and I was just like, hey, you want to do an interview? And he's just like, yeah, sure. I
did do that, yeah.
and it worked. Hey, we're here. We are here.
Yeah.
We're doing it. You know.
I mean,
So absolutely.
I'm here
know?
because you're demonstrating exactly what I was just talking about.
It's so scary though. It's so scary though, because like you're reaching out to these people, and I have like the opposite of a parasocial relationship. Like it's very nerve-wracking for me to talk to you, or like Big Beak was pretty scary. Like that was it's terrifying a little bit, but at the end of the day, you got to remember all these YouTubers, we're all flesh and blood, and you know, if somebody like reached out to me and was like, "Hey, I love your content. Do you want to talk to me on like my podcast so I can like interview you?" Dude, that's awesome. So I think a lot of it is like, and you might agree with this, is like put yourself in their shoes and be like, dang, a smaller YouTuber thinks that I'm really cool and like wants to, and like is inspired by me. That's awesome. I'd love to work with them. Like, so I think if you're a small creator, definitely, you know, reach out to larger creators, because you never know what happens. You know, some of them will shut you down. Unfortunately, I reached out to that YouTuber I mentioned, Killian Experience. He doesn't really do interviews, so you know that was kind of sad. But you know, hey, you shake it off, you move on. And man, it's so a lot of times people will be, and like he was polite about it too. So like a lot of times, I think you'll agree, most people are just gonna be like, you know, nice about it, because again, we're all just people. You know.
I remember when I had like 1,000 subs. Like I had literally just hit affiliate, and I had this like what I thought was a really fun video idea where my friend made a mod for Minecraft that turned every enemy into, or every mob into a Ravager. And I literally, once it was like somewhat completed, I reached out to both Small Ant and Point Crow's business emails with 1,000 subs, and I was like, hey, I got this mod, you want to play through it with me? And neither of them responded, but you know, it was like there's no harm in trying, you know, because I think the biggest thing about being nervous about those kinds of things is like, even if it is nerve-wracking, there's no like negative payoff for doing it, you know? Like if they say no, then they've acknowledged that you exist, right? And that's you know, you can take that as you will.
That's
if they don't if they don't respond, then you know it is what it is, and it's essentially like you didn't send it at all, right? So there's no harm done in that. And if they do say yes, then you have the ideal circumstance that you wanted to begin with. So
yeah,
I think I definitely understand the nervousness of doing those things, but I think as long as you can kind of steal those nerves and just remember that you know, the payoff for it, and even the, you know, maybe the drawback to it really have no substance in terms of like compared to not doing it at all.
Absolutely. I think we can both say, you know, I think you'd agree with my statement here, is that almost no big YouTubers got there alone, right? Everyone collabs with someone at some point, usually larger than them, or, you know, just gets that an influx from somewhere, from someone, and like almost nobody makes it alone. So I think if you're looking to follow in your footsteps, not mine, you don't want to follow in my footsteps. I again, 3,400 subs at almost over 5 years in. Yikes. But you know, if you want to be like successful, I think definitely. I gotta ask, what was your major in college? You seem like you were like communications or like business, because you've definitely got that whole idea of like, yeah, I'm just gonna reach out to people. That's like a communications thing. I'm
so I actually didn't finish college. I got to my junior year and then I left. But I was a communications major with emphasis on video production.
Soul Reed.
Yeah. You got me.
They call me Nostradamus is what they call me. That's what they
The
say.
reason I actually left college, though, was because as I was majoring in video production, I was taking these video production classes, and I was kind of beginning to learn that, you know, even in the more advanced video editing classes we were taking, I was very much in a position where, you know, I would essentially go to class and be on my phone for an hour. And the reasoning for that wasn't because I was being lazy. It was because the project that we were doing in class was so easy that I finished it within like 5 to 10 minutes and didn't have anything else to do, because that project was designed to take up the entire, you know, portion of the class. Mm-hmm. And so it kind of boiled down to a point of like, you know, I had just recently been a finalist to be like a full-time editor for like a real established YouTuber. And I didn't get the job, but it kind of cemented like, hey, my editing is, for a lack of better terms, legit. And so I was like, why am I paying all of this money to sit here and not learn anything? You know, so it just didn't feel like the cost of being there was worth the money. And so I left junior year, and then, you know, I've kind of just been grinding away at this ever since.
I mean, it worked. It worked. I mean, your editing's like awesome. So, are you at liberty to say which YouTuber it was?
I mean, I could. I don't know if it was who was it? It was like a I know who it is. The YouTuber is named Chiz Plays.
Chiz Plays.
And they're more of like a sports channel right now, like a sports gaming channel. But the big series that got me into their channel was they were doing like Super Mario Sluggers content. And I love that game because I'm a big baseball fan and I played it a lot growing up.
Me too.
And so
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I was just I was a fan. I was watching, and then I think he had posted something that was like, "Hey, looking for a full-time editor." And then, you know, I had reached out, gotten like the sample edit, sent it back, and you know, I think I had placed like second or third on like the overall in his eyes. So I didn't get the job, but I was pretty damn close, and that was kind of like that was a moment for me where I was like, okay, maybe I can do this. You know, it kind of like re-sparked that motivation in me.
Yeah, definitely. I think I think we can also say putting yourself out there and doing those kind of risks. You know, not just reaching out to like those YouTubers, but again, doing opportunities like that and just like really challenging yourself. I think that's another lesson that you could apply to your, you know, work outside of YouTube, you know? But yeah, definitely. Well, you said you're a baseball fan. I think we're going to come to a close, but I think I got to ask, you know, what team are you rooting for this year? You know, baseball season's coming up.
Well, I mean, it might be, depending on if there's a season or not. But
that's true. That's true. I feel bad for Minnesota Twins fans.
Yeah, right.
Good Lord.
I mean, I'm living in Hawaii right now, but I was born and raised in Wisconsin, so I am a Brewers fan.
My man. Oh my God. So I have two teams because I'm non-committal, but also I want to have one in the Natty League and one in the American League. So Brewers was my first professional ball game that I went to, or like MLB ball game. You know, it was my dad was living in Milwaukee at the time. It was awesome. Love the Brewers; they're great. And then I've been living in Illinois for quite some time, so I've been a White Sox fan for quite a while. Yeah. You can tell from the tone in his voice if you don't watch baseball. Yeah, being a White Sox fan is it's a Herculean labor, truly. Oh,
Any
man.
way to discredit the Cubs, huh?
Oh, fuck the Cubs. Fuck the Cubbies. Get them out of here.
It's so
man.
funny because Zane is a Chicago sports fan, so he and I have little not necessarily bickering on it, but we've definitely talked about the differing sports teams.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, hey, going from Wisconsin to Hawaii, that's gotta be a big temperature shift. You gotta be a lot happier.
It's I think it's like 75 here right now.
It is 0. It's gonna be like 0 or negatives all weekend. And I
was seeing warnings about trees exploding due to the temperature. I was like, let me go out and like tan in my pool.
Fucking you lucky bastard. You lucky bastard. Oh man. And the dumbest thing is all of my almost all my choices for grad schools that I want to go to, my number one choice is UW-Madison. I'm an idiot.
Nice.
I am an idiot. I'm willingly subjecting myself to Wisconsin winters. Oh my god. My parents are in Florida.
Madison's beautiful though.
Oh, it is 100%. But my parents are in Florida, and I said, how about terrible fucking winter? And man, we'll see if I get through this winter, because my second choice is Arizona State, and that might be calling my name after the winter. We just don't know.
How about my parents live in Florida? How about non-residents pay in the Arctic?
Hey, I thankfully I have my own house. I get in-state tuition.
Go.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, and with grad school, right? They generally they waive your tuition. Generally.
Oh, true.
Yes. So
I forgot about that.
But I've taken 6 years on my undergrad, and then I'm going straight to a PhD. So, yeah. Needless to say,
impressive.
I'm gonna be in school till I'm 30. 23 now, in school till I'm 30. How did you nail a gig in fucking Hawaii? That's my question. How did you manage that?
Well, I'm still with my parents, so.
Hey, man. That's the fucking dream.
We call it a convenient and lucky scenario.
I hope your parents are out whenever you're recording, because I've seen you get pretty loud.
Well, I actually I live in like a building kind of. It's called like an in-law suite, so it's like a separate building from the house, so it's detached, so they don't. They might hear me when I'm screaming, but it's pretty muffled.
Hey, that's the dream. Honestly, I'm looking at houses like that. I'm trying to seduce them away from Florida right now, because I'm like, guys, your house is gonna be underwater in a few years. You don't want to do that. You don't want to be neighbors with Aquaman, right? Come on.
Okay, but that sounds pretty awesome, though.
Yeah, until you one of them is not very good at swimming, so not great.
Oh, can't Aquaman teach them though?
I mean,
maybe I'm looking too deep into this.
Perhaps. I mean, maybe there's also just the point that, like, can an old dog learn new tricks like that? If they're in their 50s. If you go 50 years without learning to swim, I don't know if you'll ever learn, honestly. But I mean, that's so sick, honestly. I'm proud of you for having the good economic ability to be like, fuck Wisconsin. I'm going with my parents to Hawaii. I'm going to be a YouTuber. This is great. I'm going to tell my parents you said that works for you, and I'm going to totally get them to move back in with me. It's going to be awesome.
It was a pretty lucky circumstance because, like, I've always known that my parents were planning on moving to Hawaii. They told me and my sister back when we were in, like, elementary school, and we were like, okay, and they wanted to move, like, right away, and they ended up not. They ended up staying back because they wanted us to be able to, like, finish school in a place that we were familiar with. Mm-hmm. But my parents, essentially had told me, like, hey, once you are out of school, once you're out of college, like, we are selling the house and we're moving to Hawaii. And I was like, oh, okay. And then, you know, the time rolls around to when I leave school and, you know, everything kind of moves as planned. And, you know, initially, I didn't even realize that coming with them was an option. I had always just assumed, like, okay, I'm going to have to figure out, you know, housing moving forward. I'm going to have to figure out, you know, where I want to go. And, you know, my parents had essentially invited both my sister and I to come with. And my sister, who is in New York City, obviously did not want to come to Hawaii because, you know, she's very theater based. And so there's not a whole lot of, like, you know, work opportunities in Hawaii for theater.
Not especially now.
Yeah. But, you know, for having kind of essentially a remote job, you know, where I live doesn't necessarily matter. And so I was like, well, this is a pretty smart financial decision of, you know, being here until I can kind of go on my own when I'm ready. So,
I mean, where would you go? You're in paradise already, dude. Where the hell would you go?
I don't know, man. I wake up and I sneeze like 8 times. I think I got allergies here, but
hey, I mean, well, if I get into UW-Madison and you ever come back to Wisconsin, we're going to a damn Brewers game. That's gonna be sick as hell. Hell yeah. All right, I don't think we can justify taking up too much more of your time, Mr. Hawaii man, where it's a nice afternoon, I'm sure. You know, you can go outside and actually enjoy your day. Some of us are literally trapped inside, you bastard. You lucky bastard.
Oh, my bad. I'm sorry.
Hey, my spring break in Hawaii might be a thing. So, I mean, maybe we meet up there. We'll see.
Maybe.
But, hey, man, I thank you so much for coming and talking to me and giving the audience some advice. I really appreciate it. It's been awesome having you. You know, keep up the great work, obviously. You know, yeah, definitely, you know, just thank you so much. It's been fantastic. If we ever do a sequel to this, I'd be so down for that. It'd be so choice.
Yeah,
so,
thank you for having me. I didn't know exactly where this was gonna go when you first asked me, but this was fun.
I mean, hey, don't be a stranger. You know, if you ever if you're ever bored and don't have anything to do, which in Hawaii I'm sure is not very often. Jesus, good Lord, that's so lucky.
All right, can we move on?
Yes. Sorry, I'm so stuck on that. Again, 0 degrees outside. 0 degrees.
Yeah.
I've been stuck inside all day. It sucks. Oh, man. But, yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much. Do you have any parting words for the audience before I let you go?
I mean, you know, it's kind of the same as always. I appreciate, you know, everyone who's willing to support me and you know, the community that I've kind of garnered. So, you know, the fact that I had the opportunity to be interviewed by someone is very humbling in itself.
I mean, it's my pleasure. Truly it is. Thank you guys all for listening. Again, make sure to go check out Cush's channel. You know, again, that best of 2025 video just dropped. Go support that. Leave a like, comment, subscribe, do all that stuff. All the big, you know, engagement bait nonsense. You know how it is. Yeah, definitely go check out Cush. Absolutely. You know, go check out, you know, all those other channels we mentioned as well. Zane, Delicious James, all them. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you again so much for listening, and hopefully I can have another one of these in the next 365 days. They are very rare. But thank you all very much for listening, and I will see you guys next time.